So first of all, that's a question that Ottawa refuses to answer. They've been asked many, many times. Everybody's put in lots of access to information requests. Ottawa refuses to answer it. So Saskatchewan, doing the due diligence that really is absolutely required in this situation, Saskatchewan worked with the University of Regina, experts there, did some really comprehensive analysis. They put out a report that's 276 pages long. And of course, there's a lot of a range of variables here. But what they've said is that, the negative range could be that a carbon tax would knock out about $1.8 billion out of the Saskatchewan economy every year. When it hits $50 a ton. And in addition to that, it could cost families up to $1,000 per. When you look at that $1.8 billion number, that's about 2.4% of the GDP. That's a huge amount of money. That's a really tough blow to an economy that's still shakily rising from some of the struggles we've had with low energy prices in the last number of years. That's a big price to pay for a policy that's pretty shaky in terms of helping the environment.
Yeah. 2.4%, if you take 2.4% out of an economy, unless that economy is just roaring to begin with, you're pretty much throwing it into a recession. And again, I don't want to delve into the obvious point that this is for nothing. Like we're achieving no change in the weather. We have not placated the foes of industry, so the whole thing's a joke to begin with. But what we're trying to measure here is the cost of it. Now, let me ask you why. What excuse has Justin Trudeau provided for not giving the information? I mean, the governments are full of information. If this tax is going to be brought forward, we should know its economic impacts. Why have they said they're keeping their estimate of the punishing costs? Why have they said they're keeping that secret?
So the main explanation we typically get is that Ottawa's asking the provinces to impose a carbon tax. And until they know what the province's plan is, it's hard for them to estimate what the cost would be. Now, that's totally a false explanation for two reasons. First of all, they do have lots of analysis. You don't have to know exactly what somebody's going to do to estimate what the impact could be on a range of possibilities. In fact, here's the results to the access to information request that we did. It's all blacked out. They're not showing the numbers they do have. Mm-hmm. Nobody's saying they have to know absolutely everything about what will happen, but they do need to do at least the due diligence of showing the numbers they do have. But here's another reason that that's an absolutely false excuse. I want to let you in on a little secret, Ezra. You don't have to be James Bond, with super spy gadgets to figure out what Saskatchewan's going to do on the carbon tax, what kind of provincial policy they've got cooking. Look, Saskatchewan says it's not imposing a carbon tax. Yeah. That's what Premier Brad Wall said. That's what Premier Scott Moe said. That's what everybody who has ever listened to anything coming out of the government of Saskatchewan knows. They're not imposing a carbon tax. So there is no reason that Ottawa can't figure out what it would look like if it imposes a carbon tax, because if a carbon tax hits Saskatchewan, it's coming from Ottawa. Yeah. It's not coming from Regina. It's going to come from Ottawa. They know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. If they don't have all of the math done, they need to get it done, because if they're going to do it, it's going to come from Ottawa. For them to say that they don't know that is baffling. It's totally nonsensical.
That's an excerpt from my daily TV show, The Ezra Levant Show. Normally it's behind a paywall, but I thought you'd like this video, so we put it on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to watch the daily show every day, including always 2 interviews a day, and I read my hate mail, just click on this screen and become a premium member.